Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ya ikhwa wa ikhwat fi din al-Islam. I got my big brother Abdullah right here, and he gonna tell you his story on how he became Muslim. Alhamdulillah. So, we could get straight into this, inshallah. What made you want to convert to Islam, inshallah, akhi?
Oh, my brother, where do I even start? Oh, man. It started from just being a young man looking at how, how the non-Muslims live. We out there in the game, we was killing, stealing, robbing, dope dealing, and I knew it was a better way of life than that. Like, I would see people get killed, and people was glamorizing that. And deep down inside, I had to act like I was with it. I had to act like, yeah, that's part of it. That's block business and all this type of stuff. But deep down inside, I knew that wasn't right. So, I stayed in that mind state for some years, and it got to the point where I wanted to vent out some of that anger on other people without going into the details about what people and all this type of stuff. I wanted to just hurt something, because I was thinking about, I had remnants from the Nation of Islam, the Panthers, all kind of stuff. And then I found out that ain't Islam. So I'm like, wait a minute, man. Mankind is in a state of loss. Allah says mankind is in a state of loss. Not just one group of people. All those who don't believe is in a state of loss, except those who believe and do good deeds. So I went through that stage for a while, knowing the truth, because there was a man, he was a janitor. When I was like 16, he used to stop me and always ask, what you about to do? And he started telling me, Allah is God and Muhammad is his messenger. And he could give me dawah, but I wouldn't pay attention too much to him. I knew what he was saying was the truth, but I was thinking I was too young. So then a couple more years go by, I was like 19, and then those urges to tear up stuff became stronger and stronger, to the point where I was like, I wanted to take out some stuff on law enforcement. And I was like, somebody said, wait a minute, you need to talk to somebody, man, because you're going crazy. And I'm like, man, what's somebody going to tell me? So my auntie, she told me, you need to go and talk to some Muslims. I know, because you're going crazy right now. You need to go and talk to some Muslims, I know. And she was like, they from India. And I was like, what they gonna tell me? They don't know what's going on out here, man. So she was like, trust me, go and talk to them. So she said his name is Ibrahim Nana. So anyway, I humbled myself and I went to the mosque to go and meet him. And it just so happened to be that it was the Dua prayer. And he pulled up in front of the masjid, and I was there waiting on him. And I told him that I was here to talk to him. And he said, well, come into the masjid. You right on time. It's prayer time. So he told me to come in and sit down. And I noticed once I walked into the masjid, it was the best feeling I ever had in my life. I felt true sakina, peace and tranquility. So anyway, after the prayer, he allowed me to watch the prayer. And after the prayer, I asked him the questions, and he broke it down in a very simple way. Let me know that Allah is God, the one who created the sun, the moon, the stars, and everything in existence. And he just broke it down in such an easy way that I said, man, I believe that. I'm convinced, man. I know this didn't just happen by chance. And he explained a little more in detail, and the facts that he presented was just overwhelming. So he said, if you believe, give me your hand. And I gave him my hand, and he said, repeat after me, and I took Shahada.
Alhamdulillah.
So after I took Shahada, they gave me a little Quran and some prayer rug and stuff like that. So I was pumped up. I thought I knew the cure for the whole world. So I ran back to the block. I was staying in the jungle. I ran back to the jungle up on everybody. I ran up on everybody I knew. There's no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. I'm telling you, I know an Indian man that can tell y'all about religion and guide y'all to the truth. Nothing deserves to be worshipped except Allah. And my tribe, they looked at me and they fell back laughing. Like, this nigga crazy, this nigga crazy. I mean, they just started laughing. They laughed at me so bad, they almost laughed me out the neighborhood. So I'm like, oh man, my people, man, they really on some ignorant stuff. So anyway, some months went on, and you know, I wasn't involved in no community or nothing like that. I was by myself. So this is also a lesson for you brothers to let you know how sneaky the shaitan is. There was this Haitian girl I knew. She came by one day, and I saw her walking past the window. And she was like, Kev, what's up with you, Kevin? And that was my birth name. And I was like, nothing much. She was like, where do Andre live at? And I was like, Andre? I was trying to tell her where Andre lived. So she said, I don't know what I said. I said, hold on, I'll walk you over there. So anyway, I walked over to Andre's house, and Andre was like, man, what's up with you, man? I don't see too much of you no more. He was like, it's cool to come in. Shaitan was luring me in little by little by little. So anyway, I wound up going up in the house and blah, 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 and one thing led to another. So my first 6 months of Islam, I fell off the deen. And it wasn't by the mercy of Allah that almost 4 years later, some brothers caught me in a dice game, and they caught me. And they ran up on me, and they gave me the dawah again. And by the mercy of Allah, I made a promise to myself, to Allah, that if I get back on my deen, I'll never go astray again. So that particular night, that particular day, the Jamaat wanted me to come back to the masjid with them. And I was like, man, I can't go to the masjid. I'm dirty, man. I'm living in sin right now. I got to take a shower. I'm kind of lightweight, drunk, and all that type of stuff. And they was like, just come, just come, just come. And I was like, I can't come to the masjid like this. I said, tomorrow I'll be back. So that night, Shaitan made me give my farewell speech to the block. So I went out there in front of everybody. You know, I was off like 240 ounces. I told everybody, tomorrow, I'm going to be a Muslim. I was crying and everything and told them, you know, that I'm going to be a Muslim tomorrow. And it was what I call my farewell speech to the block. And anyway, by the mercy of Allah, from that day on, it's been some struggles, some uphill battles that I had encountered. But by the mercy of Allah, He's kept me on the Sirat al-Mustaqim.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.
From way back then to now. And all I can say is that Allah guides whom He will to a road that is straight. This is the religion of truth for all mankind, for all races. Nothing deserves to be worshipped except Allah, and Muhammad is His messenger. And coming to Islam in totality, and coming to Islam wholeheartedly, with none of that bid'ah and shirk, come into Islam wholeheartedly and follow the Quran and the Sunnah with the understanding of the Sahaba and the Tabi'een and the Tabi'een and all of the scholars from then to Yom Qiyamah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. Real quick, you want to give us the story about how you tried to get your friend out, your best friend, inshallah, just to show people that you never know when your time is up. So if you have that opportunity, you know, to come to the deen, inshallah, you should do it. Because like a lot of people out here, them say, yeah, I believe that, but it's too hard, or you know what I mean. So if you want to share that, it's good. If not, you feel me, we can close.
It's all good. I had a friend by the name of Buff Ron from Marina City, California, the jungle. He was like one of my best friends. And anyway, when I became Muslim, I tried to give him dawah. He was one of those who didn't want to believe. And I tried my hardest, but my dawah techniques wasn't that good, so Allah knows best whether He had mercy on him or not, but it's by the mercy of Allah, regardless if he go to Jannah or Jahannam. But anyway, I tried to give him dawah, but he wasn't one of those who listened, so he died in kufr. And so he got into this shootout with this other dude I know without going too much into detail. And so 2 nights before he wound up getting killed, I was at home and I was thinking, I was married to my first wife. We was at home just chilling and talking. And I said, you know what, I should go outside and try to go find my friend one more time. And I spent the night with him just talking to him over and over, trying to tell him to come to the masjid. And he was like, Kev, I can't be no Moozlum, man. You know how they be talking, they say Moozlum. He was like, I can't be Moozlum, Kev. And I'm like, man, Ron, I'm telling you, there's no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. Peace be upon him. And anyway, we departed. I looked at him for the last time. I knew something was going to happen because he had a shootout a couple nights before that. So anyway, I got out the car, and I never will forget how he looked at me. Like he knew he was in trouble, but he just wasn't ready to submit. So I watched him drive off in his little Grand Prix, old school car. He smashed off, and I just watched him. So a couple nights later, I'm back in at the house with my first wife, and my ex-wife, and we heard just a whole bunch of shooting. Boom, 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 boom. So I stuck my head out the window, and I said to myself, I guess they just shooting, because I didn't hear nobody screaming. And right as I was about to shut the window, I heard some girls screaming. So I ran outside. I knew it was Ron. So I ran outside to the tall buildings, and somebody was trying to stop me from seeing the scene. But I insisted on getting up in there. And when I got up in the house, my folks was laying on against the wall, slumped over. And I ran up on them in front of everybody. It was just complete chaos in the house. People were yelling and screaming, girls crying. My boy was right there next to him. Two dudes I knew. One was trying to hold him up so he wouldn't to get him in a better, comfortable position. And I ran up on him and I said, Ron, say La ilaha illallah, Muhammadu Rasulullah. I was like, Ron, do you hear me? Say La ilaha illallah, Muhammadu Rasulullah. And he nodded with his head. I'll never forget, he nodded with his head. And a big old tear came out his eye, from his eyes all the way down to his lips. And he rocked and shook his head to let me know that I hear you, Kev, I hear you. And he died right there. He died right there in my partner's hands. And that was the story of Ronnie Small, 20 years old. All he wanted to do was live to be 21 so he could get to the club. But guess what, y'all? He never lived to be 21. He was killed January 9th, 1997.
SubhanAllah.
So, inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. From Allah we come, to Allah we return, willingly or unwillingly. But we gonna return to our Creator. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.